Hello, how are you today? This is Jilly Bling, and I have project number 3 out of 5, and this is a Gotta Have It project using Cottage Rose Bundle. So isn't this just beautiful? The first two I did were, they kind of had like, I was using the paper and it had the brown on it, and I'd say brown isn't my favorite color, but I liked how those turned out. I think they're really pretty. But this right here, yeah, I'm just loving this one. So elegant, so pretty. I love mixing the gray bluer tones with gold. We certainly did that here. Okay, so that's the project for today using Cottage Rose, and also one of my new favorites, Charming Sentiments. So look at all these words, that's great, but on top of all that, there are dies that cut out every word in that set. Look at all these dies. And other pieces. You don't know how many times I've seen other people in years, the past few years, where they stamp a sentiment and then they cut out around it. And I do okay doing that, but after I'm cutting it out, it's like, oh, I'm not going to do this again. Guess what they came out with? Very clever. We'll also be using Cottage Rose dies and artistic dies. Okay, and of course Charming Sentiments and Cottage Rose. So here's a sample. So this is my embossing buddy. That is really old. This little tin was given to us, us stampers, I think even I picked it up and gave it to everyone because it perfectly would hold your embossing buddy. And because it's been around for so long, I always refer to my embossing buddy as Betty Boop. So sometimes I kind of slip and I said, oh, where's Betty Boop? This is why. We'll be using that. Okay, so let's just start from the bottom and work up. Smoky slate paper cut in half. Okay, and these two pieces, one for the inside, one for here, and that just gets stuck down. Nothing fancy about that. That's just an extra layer because, you know, we don't do cards cheap. All these layers is what makes it look so nice. Okay, that's done. These will be next. So this is an embossing folder called Time Worn, and this paper is just a little bit smaller. See, if I put it at the angle, you could see that it's just a little bit smaller than this paper. I think by 1/8 of an inch. So once you center it, it's by 1/16 of an inch. And I guess I could texture this, but once again, no need to do cheap. So I'll run this through. There it is. And I'm going to put this on with dimensionals, more just so that there's a little bit of a shadow underneath it. And all these little understated details is what makes our cards look so nice. So, you know, every time I use this, I'm trying to read some of the words. Something rover, load, harvest, we know what. Can't read the rest of it. But I don't know why every time I feel like it's a challenge. And I probably read the same ones over and over and over. Okay, so that's on there. See that little shadow? Just a little bit of a hint of differentiation between the two whites. Okay, so this is going to go on next. Because this is textured, I will use liquid glue. Good enough. That will go right in the middle. Okay, so these other pieces, oh, and this is a Gotta Have It box. Let me show you. Okay, I'm going to get everything ready and then cut it out. So on here, Betty Boop. And this one is right when I started stamping. Started stamping when my son was 4 months old, and he's about to have his 24th birthday. That means that's old. That's really old. That was the first time I was stamping. I don't think I got it immediately, but still. Okay, so this is from the Charming Sentiments. And if ever you're like white on white, oh, and you know what? They're getting married. Last weekend, I know you wanted to know all this. Last weekend, Michaela came over, and look what we were working on. Invitations. This is scratch paper. We did lots of scratch paper. But if ever you can't see something, put a darker color underneath it. And I could perfectly see the perimeter of the basic white cardstock. Okay, and then I'm going to put gold powder on this. My gold powder is in the box of products that we use to make the invitations. I guess I could have pulled it out. This works fine though. Okay. Have to move that. You don't know how many times I've blown powder, poof, all across the room. Okay, so we have these 3 pieces that are going to be die cut, single stem flower, double flower, leaf, and Charming Sentiments. Look at that. Do you know how many times I've spent time? And it's like I never know where to cut because I'm wanting to cut way into here. Then it becomes all fragile. Oh, I love these. I love these dies. Okay, and then this is going to get, oh, I'll show you in just a minute. Hold on. Let's get these cut. Look at that. So, those 3, and we'll put these on in just a minute. They're so pretty. This is using the new to the catalog distressed gold paper. You get 2 sheets in a package. Didn't that turn out perfect? Yeah. It would take me forever to cut that out. I love that. And then this is from the Artistic Dies. And if you don't have one of these, and if you do any die cutting, you're going to be like, I need that. Put it in there. And you know what? Sometimes, well, right now I'm using my little tray for my cleaner, but this perfectly fits in here. Much better use, but using it for other things. Anyhow, the die brush is lovely. So this is a take your pick tool, and these ends are interchangeable for whatever you may need. And then there's another end that has like the putty. Do I have it here? No, it's in the project box. It has a putty stick, like to pick up little gems and things. But this makes all the difference. Okay, look at that. Normally I would be sitting there poking all that out. Let's see. Oh, does this ever happen? Look at this. Is that? Okay, minus 2 little pieces. Otherwise, it's perfect. Okay, I need to pull it out more often. Many times I just go, I'll just pick them out. Well, that's impressive. Okay, where are those two? Here's one. Here's one. Okay, so I was saying, this is the Gotta Have It box, which means if you get the bundle from me within the next week, I would love to send you these 5 card kits. So it won't be done, but it will have all the supplies needed to make these 5 cards. And I always try to do my best work to impress you. So this morning I received a email from Diana saying, okay, I'm ready. You all know how long I've been doing these Gotta Have It boxes. So I'm very excited. Thank you, Diana. Okay, so I'm just putting glue all around here. And this is just going to act as a background. No need to pop it up or dimensionals because it's going to be covered with lots of beautiful layers of other stuff. So this morning, well, you probably heard me say in the last video that Tony is out of town. It's Oma's 94th birthday. I should be with him, but I stayed home because I had lots of appointments already scheduled. So he's coming back right now. But on his way out, he's like, hey, while I'm gone, if you want, you could do, well, that's another thing, kind of a little story, it's a joke. You could be Jilly Jack, and you could go out and clean up some of the logs and stuff. So last weekend, Michaela and Evan were here, and there was some trees that they were on their way out. They were browning at the top, and they took them out, so they were laying all over the yard. So that needs to, first of all, be limbed up because there's branches, like dead branches everywhere. Then, of course, cut the big log into chunks. So when you go out there, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a disaster out here. So he had the trailer out there. So guess what I did this morning? Yeah, I got my exercise on for probably like over 2 hours. I'll probably be sore tomorrow, bending down and picking up those heavy logs. But he says that because he knows that in a weird way I kind of like it. So a few years ago we had what many of us refer to as Snowmageddon. Out of the blue, a lot of snow, a lot of heavy snow. And a lot of people lost trees. And it's just because we weren't used to that much snow, that heavy all at once. The trees weren't used to it, so we lost quite a few of them. Everyone did. And the power was out. It was a little bit rough. But all these trees that we lost, we had to clean up all the mess. So when he was at work, and I didn't mind at all, I went out there and all these logs, and then they rented a splitter. They split all these logs, and I was over there getting them from this big mound. And the mound was, it was big. It was big. Not as big as a house, not that tall, but almost. And stacking them up, and I became a good stacker. Anyhow, after a few weeks of working at that every day, he would come home at lunch and it's like, what are you doing? And you know how it is when you've been working out in the yard and you're all full of energy. I stood up from lifting up a log and I said, I am Jilly Jack. He just thought that was so funny. Anyhow, now whenever he wants me to work outside, he's like, hey, Jilly Jack. So, I was Jilly Jack. I think I want these two ends going the same direction. Maybe I'll make this one a little shorter. But it was fun cleaning up out there. It's nice for it to be clean. It's a good workout, I say right now. And in a little bit I'll go, ooh. But I'd do that again. Okay, so I'm using the glue dots just kind of to hold it in place. That one I put up way too high. Come on off. Oop. Kind of messed up the ribbon there a little bit. Should have put a glue dot there. That's really hanging on too. Okay, I'm going to see if I could work around it being on there. Well, that's better already. Okay, so this. Hold that down. Me and my liquid glue. That's where this one is going to go, right about here. And once this dries, it won't be such a mess. You could just use lots of glue dots too, if you're not in the mood for liquid glue. Okay, so that, and this one is going to kind of be swooping down. Because all of this stuff is so pretty, I think no matter how you put it on there, it's going to be beautiful. Oh, and then there's these new gems that are in the holiday catalog. I think they're meant to go with snowy stuff. But wait till I show you, put them on here. They're just so pretty. Oh! Stick. Good thing the glue dries clear. Definitely want the glue on the ends because I want the ends of the flower to stick down. I don't want it to snag on anything. So Bo was out there with me helping out, and as I would bring the limbs to the burn pile, the rounds were supposed to go into the trailer, but some of those rounds got really heavy. I just rolled them over there. So the ones that would go into the burn pile, Bo came over and he was helping me. He was putting, he was like chewing and biting on them. And sometimes he was just all in the middle of chewing and biting and doing his part. And I would put another big branch on there, and it would make the whole pile kind of shake a little bit. And then a branch would come down and kind of hit him and get him, and he'd look over and he wouldn't look at me like, why'd you do that? But then he would start biting the next one. And I'm like, what are you going to do after you bite it? After you bite it off? And he just wanted to bite it, and then he would just leave the piece laying there. I need to teach that dog how to clean up stuff. You know what? I'm going to put dimensionals on here, and hopefully I'll be able to tuck this one in. Okay, and because it's kind of so fluffy and stuff, I'm going to overdo it on the dimensionals. Because I could do that. I buy so many dimensionals. I have the item numbers for both sizes memorized. Okay, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm going to leave this side kind of flapping a little bit because I'm going to tuck that leaf under here. Oh, I love this card. So that's my story for today. I'm going to put it a little bit over the ribbon just because it kind of shows off the distressed gold paper. Okay, stick that down. Okay, so there we go. The front is almost done. Okay, I'm going to spring some beautiful gems on you now. Oh, and these ribbons are fresh Freesia open weave ribbon, and this is satin edged ribbon. You notice how they're both kind of the sheer ribbon? I think I have a fascination with sheer ribbon because I can never seem to get enough. If it's sheer ribbon, I'm buying it and I love it. Just love it. Okay, gems. Look at these. These are called adhesive back sequins in gems. I think that's Pool Party Fresh Freesia. Because I had these sitting here. I wanted the card to be kind of monochromatic. Didn't plan on putting color on it. But the gems is like, okay, Freesia ribbon, it's gotta be. I love how it came out. Okay, so I'm gonna put on 5 of these in random beautiful spots. 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I love those gems. We're fancy. Okay, inside. Inside is pretty too, but not quite as fancy. So, Versamark for a little bit of gold. Smoky Slate for this big flower. And you know, I probably should have done this card going the other direction. That's okay. It's still pretty. I can't wait to color this. That's coming up next. So I'm going to put it so the flower is right in the center. I think the last Get Well card, the flower was off to the side. Isn't that beautiful? Don't you want to color it? I don't even know what colors I want to color it. It's just so pretty. I'm loving that the bright new in colors. Okay, so if you're going to emboss over the top of something you just stamped, normally, okay, you just do it. But if there's any moisture left in this smoky slate paper, it will hold the embossing powder, which could be kind of fun. But if you use your embossing buddy, this one, I think I need to get a new one. I've joked around, it's gone through menopause. It's a little deflated. Yeah, I need to get a new one. Okay, so use your embossing buddy. That takes away any of the moisture from the smoky slate ink. Versamark, and wishing you everything wonderful. This is going to be a birthday card. It's going to be fab. I like that. I like things that are fab. This year is going to be fab. And then this I'm going to have somewhat over the smoky slate flower. And because Versamark is clear, let's hope I stamped it straight. It's invisible. I don't know. Fab. Okay. I could dump it into the... I stamped it straight. Today is a good day. That's so pretty. This would be a nice wedding card too. Okay, so when you stamp heat emboss on white paper, the heat embossing, the heat tool, does make your paper kind of warp a little bit. So just make sure to use a good strong adhesive or liquid glue, because that will really hold the sides down. If you use your tape runner, gotta tell you, sometimes it pops up. I hear you, Bo. You need to go out. Okay, you get to wait just a minute. I'm almost done. I know that dog understands everything I say. Okay, so inside this goes. Isn't that pretty? You know, our hobby never ceases to thrill and amaze me. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I get it flat, give it just a second to dry, because the last thing I want is a little buckle up right here. I want it to stay flat. Okay, so that is it for today's project, even though I might do another one this afternoon. Isn't it beautiful? Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I would love to come as a notification to your inbox. And hit the like button. Then I'll know what you like. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.